The Colts have traded for quarterback Matt Ryan after 14 outstanding years with the Atlanta Falcons. He's in studio with us now. I'm Matt Taylor with J.J. Stankovitz and Casey Valier. Matt, first off, welcome to Indianapolis. And, what were your initial feelings upon learning of the trade and coming over to the Colts?
Yeah, I was excited. Obviously it's bittersweet. I spent a long time in Atlanta, 14 years, and loved every minute of it. I'm incredibly grateful to Arthur Blank and the entire, Falcons organization for making me feel so loved and so welcomed and competing down there for so long. There were such highs and lows, but I'm sad it's over, but I'm happy that it was as great as it was, and I'm very fortunate that it was that way. But I'm really excited to be here. I think there's great football left in me. I think there's great football in this team I'm coming into,
right?
And I'm really excited about what we have in front of us.
You talked about that meeting you took on Saturday night before the trade went down on Monday. You met on Zoom virtually with Frank Reich, Chris Ballard, some of the coaching staff members. What was it about that meeting that sold you, that kind of took it over the top for you?
Well, I think the vision, the vision that Chris has in terms of how he's building rosters, what he believes in, the vision that Frank has for not only the offense but the team and what he values in players. And I think it aligns a lot with what I think of the teams that I've been a part of, the winning football teams I've been a part of, has sounded a lot like the things they're describing, and I think they've built it really well, and I'm excited to now be a part of it.
Matt, you talked in your press conference about how you kind of took that peek at the Buffalo tape when you were looking at Jonathan Taylor. Are you kind of like a football junkie? Is that something that?
I mean, I like football. Yeah,
I would imagine. But when you took that meeting, with Frank Reich and Chris Ballard and the Colts coaching staff, did you already have an idea of the roster here in Indianapolis and the strength of the roster here?
Yes. Yeah. I pride myself on being prepared. And so, obviously they know the roster much better than I, and they know the personality types, but at a good understanding of the strengths of the teams, some of the spots that, need looking at or whatever. Just every roster has, high and low on it or whatever. And this one's really balanced. That's the thing that to me is so enticing, is they build it really steady across the board. And, it sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun to be a part of it.
One of the things that you did mention was you were lucky enough to win the Johnny Unitas Award, and you kind of talk about the tutelage of quarterbacks that played here. How awesome is that for you to kind of etch your name in there with Unitas and Manning and Luck and Rivers?
Yeah, I can't tell you how it's kind of mind blowing. You think about Johnny U is like the original. He's right. He is the man, and he's got the high and tight crew cut, the little flat top. He's got the black cleats on, but that's the Colts, right? And although they were in a different city, that's this organization. And then Peyton, to me, is, he's the him and Tom Brady are like the transcendent figures of my high school and college experience. The guys that I looked up to that were that 8 or 9 or 10 years in front of me, that I was like, man, that is what you have to, be like. That's how you have to do it. And I've always looked up to him, and his run here was unbelievable. The consistency, the way that they won, the production that they had on offense, it was incredible. And I always have looked up to him for that. And then, talk about Andrew, competing against him. And I know his career was different than those other guys, but the highs were high.
Yeah.
The highs were really, really high. And Philip, and Philip had a great year here, the year he was here. So I'm excited. I'm hoping I can add to that, do the best I can do, win some football games, and add to the banners. I walked into the indoor facility, and there's a lot of them hanging up there, man. And so, hopefully we can add to that, because it's a really, unique tradition that they have here.
No question about it. That's Matt Ryan, 5th all-time in passing yards, 9th all-time in touchdown passes. And, the NFL, it's different, as you alluded to earlier. There didn't used to be this much quarterback movement, back in the day, as they say, in 2008, 2010, 2012. It's a different landscape now here in 2022. With that being said, how excited are you to kind of tap into the success that these quarterbacks that have switched teams have had immediately? There's a blueprint, there's a track record for this as you switch teams here for the first time in your career.
Yeah, I'm friends with both of them, the last two, and I'm not sure how much they'll give, the secrets, but I'll definitely ask and see how they guided through that transition process. But I think it's about getting into the locker room, getting to meet the guys, starting to put in the work with the guys. The thing I know about Matthew and Tom is they're both really hard workers, and they're both, great teammates. And that's what I'm going to try and be. I've always prided myself on that, and I think that's the thing the guys in this locker room can count on. Hard work and being a loyal, tough teammate.
I thought it was interesting, Matt, in the press conference you had, someone asked you about, what's it going to be like learning a new offensive system? And you're like, well, I've kind of had a bunch of those over the course of my time with the Falcons. What have you learned in those transitions about how to make them successful in the quarterback-coach relationship?
Yeah, I think I think part of it is you have to learn what's important and what doesn't matter. Like some of the stuff they might keep harping on coaches in certain ways. You're like, that's fine. It doesn't really matter. We got to get to the nuts and bolts of this. We got to hammer out protections. We need to know inside and out how we're doing our protections. We need to understand progressions, reads, checks, like those kind of things. We'll learn, I might have called this a dagger route. You might call it a Dover route. You might call it an in-cut. We'll learn. We'll get in the same language in time, but making sure we know exactly what we're expected to do with protections, progressions, and checks, and being on the same page on that, to me, is where we have to start.
And then along those lines, what have just been your early impressions of Frank Reich, talking to him on that Zoom call on Saturday, getting to meet him today here at the facility?
There's nobody you're going to find in this league that's more stand-up and a better person than him. And I've met him a number of times. I forgot he's a big dude today. He's put together, man. And I was like, oh, okay, he can still spin it, still get out there and go. But I think it's just the quality of the person that he is. I know a lot of people that have either worked, played for, or been around him, and everybody says the same thing. He's one of the best people you ever meet. He's one of the most organized, smart, thoughtful coaches you're going to be around. And I'm fired up, and I'm going to try and give him every ounce of effort that I have. My wife told him, she's like, he's going to annoy you quickly, because he's going to be asking about everything and trying to get all the answers right away. So hopefully I don't annoy him too bad. Hopefully he's patient too. I don't know that part of it yet.
With all football players comes that competitiveness, and you move from the NFC to the AFC, which is kind of seems like the transition that a lot of quarterbacks are making right now. Does that at all kind of add to that fire that you're like, you want to go up and compete against the best, and you look at the quarterbacks that are in this conference, and it's like, does that give you a little extra, motivation?
Yeah. I mean, you want to be the best. You always have that mindset. I think, as far as you're never really on the field against them. That's one of the things that's always gets, skewed. I just want to win. I don't care if it's, what division it's in, what we're the AFC South now. I want to win. I want to win that division. I want to win with these guys. I want to have a chance to play into January and see what we can do. And that's my motivation. That's what gets me out of bed right now. And that's what keeps me interested in doing this. And I believe I'm, lucky enough to have ended up in a place where we can do that. And it's going to take a lot of hard work. Nothing is given. Nothing is handed out. But there's the capability, and that fires me up.
You've only missed, I believe, 3 games in your entire career, so 222 out of 225 starts you've made. What have you learned over the course of your career about how to take care of your body, how to be so available over your career?
Yeah, it's, number one, you have to get lucky. You have to be a little bit lucky in that. I'm not sure that's the most important part of it, but there is a bit of luck that goes into that. But I'm a big believer in sleep, big believer in, recovery, taking care of yourself, getting away from it, like being efficient with your time. I think sometimes, early in my career, I probably overworked myself when it came to film study or whatever. And I've gotten into a place, later in my career where I'm in a much better place of knowing exactly what I need to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then also being flexible that each week can be different. Like what you need this week 1 might be completely different than what you need week 18, and be okay with that. A little bit of flexibility goes a long way. And I also think I'm, too dumb to do anything else. So you go out there and just let it rip.
Same.
Even if you're hurting, just let it go sling it. That's all I can do. So yeah, exactly.
Hey, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah,
You're
that's
doing
right.
something right, my friend. That's Matt Ryan with us. Lastly, because I know it's been such a crazy day for you, so we really appreciate the time you've made for us. I guess what's the mood within the family as they make the move to Indianapolis? What's their excitement, for a new community, and how are the boys embracing this change?
Oh, man, it was like Christmas morning, for us. We were going on a plane, so my kids were like, this is awesome, this is incredible. And Mr. Irsay was very nice to send down an awesome plane for us and bring us up to Indianapolis. So everybody's excited. My kids are 4. I've got the twin boys that are 4. So they were a little confused when we told them that, the Falcon sheet had to go.
Yeah.
We were going to get new sheets like this.
Yeah.
It was like, what?
Yeah, it's hard.
But the Colts were so good to him this morning. We got Blue, the mascot, to come show up. We got Blue dolls. They had jerseys made for him. So I think our boys are just fine, and my wife's, fired up. So we're all excited.
Well, welcome to the Colts. Welcome to Indianapolis. On behalf of everyone in this room, we really appreciate the time. Continued success. Hope you got a warm welcome from all of the fan base that you've seen around town in a short amount of time, and we'll see you in the spring.
I can't wait, guys. Thank you so much.